Before we get into today's Cowboys Report, whoever comments the most on today's video, individual comments can be whatever it is, could be your name, could just be a number or a letter. Whoever comments the most will get a shout out on a future video. So if you haven't started already, go start commenting. Today, let's break down some fairly in-depth reporting, not in-depth, but good information from ESPN on what the Cowboys draft plan might be from three different people/sources. First up is ESPN's Todd Archer, who does not miss on the Cowboys beat. Says the Cowboys are down two starters on the offensive line, Tyron Smith and Tyler Biadasz. So at the very least, they need a tackle or a center to be a day one starter. It would be nice if their second or third round pick could come in as the lead rusher, but they will still need to backstop the running back position in free agency with a veteran. We will deal with the veteran stuff after the draft because the draft is rapidly approaching. And I think all of us would agree offensive line and running back are some of the more obvious early targets and needs and focal points for this organization because they need the help. And offensive line, by a pretty good margin, is the betting favorite for the Cowboys in round one. Now, assuming there's not a shocking faller, Olu Fashanu, Troy Fatanu, whatever, some O-line draft targets to consider. Centers Graham Barton and Jackson Powers-Johnson were 30 visits. Now, you got to vet the medical on Jackson Powers-Johnson and to a lesser extent Graham Barton as well. Real chance one, if not both of those players are on the board in round one. Amarius Mims and Tyler Guyton are high upside, but also kind of projects. Mims is inexperienced. I think Guyton is more raw. There is a difference there. Both played right tackle last year, could flip to the left side, and may or may not be there in Dallas, and unknown if they were 30 visits. Kingsley Suamataia out of BYU, played left tackle and right tackle, and I think could be a good fallback option for Dallas if the board doesn't go their way and there's a big run on offensive linemen in the first round. But look, O-line is a concern right now. If you started the year today, it'd be Tyler Smith, TJ Bass, Brock Hoffman, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele. I don't want to start both TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman. I want to be able to bench one of those guys. Whether that is because you're playing Bass or Hoffman at center, playing Bass or Hoffman at left guard. I don't, and you're putting Tyler left tackle or left guard, I don't want to play both of them. I'd like to get some better depth in there. And I do think Dallas can do that. You could even see maybe a double dip depending on how the board falls. More on that in a moment. But in round one, which position would you rather draft? OT for offensive tackle or C for center? It's a pinned comment on today's video. So if an ad plays, ignore the ad, go vote instead. Now, I myself would like to go offensive tackle in round one and then center later. I think that the way the talent breaks out, it's a really good offensive tackle class, especially in round one. And I don't know how many of those guys are going to get to you in round two and round three. It just gets a little bit less stretchy. Center, though, I do think will stretch more. I think you can find a starting caliber guy, if not immediately week one, can become a starter as the year goes on, or even year two, and compete with Brock Hoffman in the second, in the third, even maybe into the fifth round as well. And that might not be how the board falls. In a dream, the impossible world, the perfect Cowboys mock draft is, Troy Fatanu in round one and Zach Frazier in round two. I don't know, or Amarius Mims in round one, whatever. I don't know how realistic that is. I don't think it's very. That's the dream impossible scenario, right? And I do expect running back on day two. In fact, I think it'd be surprising for all of us here if Dallas left the second round or third round of the NFL draft. They got to their pick with no fourth rounder, and they didn't have an option at running back. It's a good running back class. There's no Bijan Robinson. There's no Jahmyr Gibbs. But that kind of late second, fourth round range, there's talent. Trey Benson, Jonathan Brooks, Jalen Wright, Blake Corum, Braylon Allen, Marshawn Lloyd, Tyrone Tracy. Not a 30 visit, by the way. Erroneously reported, I've been told. Audric Estime, Bucky Irving. Guys that they can help. They can be a lead back for you. Ray Davis mixed in there as well. Different levels of talent and impact, etc. And you could take a guy early and take a guy late in the seventh round too if you wanted. There are pieces available for the Dallas Cowboys. So what running back do you want to draft? A lot of options, not even that many wrong options. Sound off for me in the comments section right now. The NFL draft is all about NFL teams making the next hire, the next big hire for their own organizations. And when you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. We have used LinkedIn here at Chat Sports, how we found producer Chris, the new hires we just made as well. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. They have a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. And hiring is easy when you have so many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. That's why 2.5 small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. I would feel like that's a lot of people that use it, and is probably a good indication that it's something you should be using as well. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That's linkedin.com/NFL Daily to post your job for free. Now, this was the report from Jordan Reid as part of the ESPN piece about some day 2 Cowboys draft plans. It says, don't sleep on Dallas doubling up and selecting 2 offensive linemen early in the draft. Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State and Dominick Puni out of Kansas are day 2 options who have the potential to be early starters. Now, I've got a second-round grade on Cooper Beebe myself. The length is really bad. It's 31 and a half inch arms. And you kind of see, like, you look at what a guard looks like, it's that. Got this like shorter-ish, stocky build, like thick body, 322. Did play tackle at Kansas. He's not going to play tackle in Kansas at all. The length is going to be an issue, but the athletic ability, which some people undoubted, was very impressive testing-wise. Dominick Puni, meanwhile, has had starts at left tackle, right tackle, and left guard. Because of that, I think he could be a center option too. He got some reps at those at Senior Bowl, etc. I think you've got an option here to be a 5-spot player on the offensive line. I have a 3rd round grade on him. Wouldn't be shocked if he went a little bit earlier. Also tested super well. Did slim down a little bit for testing to just above 300 pounds. Does play a little bit tall, but he's not going to be a tackle. He played tackle most recently at Kansas. He's going to kick on the inside, mitigate some of the athletic concerns. He's a good tester at guard, not so good at tackle. I think day 2 is a great fit for him. But this kind of gets into my issue. You're going to double dip on the offensive line and go running back in theory, O-line, running back, O-line, some order. I'm not getting any defensive help until day 3 with no 4th round pick. That's tough because I don't have enough. I have too many needs, not enough picks. This is what one NFC scouting director told Jordan Reid. I don't really understand the plan there so far this offseason. There's a lot weighing on the draft, and they seem to be confident about finding a bunch of starters, which worries me. Since you didn't find starters in last year's draft, maybe you get 1 or 2 this year. 2.5. That's it. Dicey. Now, the NFL draft is just over a week away. We will have all the coverage you want, and we'll be live for it. Hit that sub button for me right now. It's a day that ends in Y, so ESPN talking about Dak Prescott again. Another ESPN report saying the Cowboys want to pay Dak, but not right now. A line we've heard quite a bit of. Here's what Jeremy Fowler reported on SportsCenter. I was told from a source with the team that the notion the Cowboys don't want to keep Dak Prescott beyond 2024, when he'll be a free agent this next year, is false, that they still believe in him firmly. They want him long-term, but I would describe their pursuits of a contract extension so far as pretty passive. He's got a $61 million cap hit this year. It's actually not the right number. It's lower. He's got dead money next year, so he's got a lot of leverage. This will play out eventually, but they are committed to spending money, trying to re-sign some of their guys, Dak included. But are they, though? Again, I would argue this plan is stupid. Why the delay? This goes for CeeDee Lamb. We'll talk about tomorrow, by the way, on tomorrow's live show. Goes for Lamb as well. If you plan on paying him, you should have done it 2 months ago before free agency, so you had some more spending money to maximize your roster to win right now, because that's the whole point of having a franchise quarterback top 10 QB. Win games now. If you don't plan on paying him, why is he here? Why are you just going to hurt your draft stock next year for another year that we know how it's going to go? You're going to be a 10-ish win team, make the playoffs, and probably have the entire team collapse again come postseason time. This only makes sense if the Cowboys are like, we don't want to pay him now, but next year when we have more cash available for our various ventures, and the Cowboys included. This does not help. The Cowboys are already at their cash budget limit. I am concerned that is the case, because if it is the case, this team will never be operating the way other teams can be, and they will always be a little bit more limited in what they're able to spend. So will the Cowboys extend Dak Prescott? I'm sure this will go over very well in the comments. Why for yes and for no? Go ahead and vote.